Everybody, it's the Redstone Wizard here again, bringing you another Redstone tutorial. This time, what I got for you is another sorting system. Yep, can't seem to get enough sorting and item storage. Well, you know what? Let's just take a look at what I got. All right, now this is one wide tileable, and you can actually just have a single wall of it if you want. Now, this part right here is just simple. It's just a standard sorter attached to this right here. Now, the reason why I decided to add this is to give a little more space so that you have things so that you could sort, because not everything is going to be able to load up shulker boxes entirely. So things like ancient debris, all this type of stuff won't always be filled. But things like cobblestone, redstone dust, redstone torches, well, whatever you want to put into shulker boxes that you get a lot of items for, will be able to be loaded into boxes. Now, you can actually stand at the edge of the stair and access this shulker box while it is getting loaded, along with these ones. And like, wizard, I need to get the full shulkers. Well, look here at this dispenser. It loads them up. If you have tons, it loads them up into the chests. See? Easy to get to. Now, what I got here is just a simple little box unloader. And let's just see what happens. Well, first off, yeah, it's going to start unloading the boxes. But it's going to start sorting out every item in your system. And I'm using water streams. You don't have to use water streams. You could use hoppers. You could use minecarts, whatever. Something to be able to move the items. I just find item streams a little more easy to handle with something like this. So, and these are single speed. You can set them up for double speed if you want, but that just means you're just pulling out items twice as fast. There's really no advantage or disadvantage if you have the right time settings for this. But yeah, and they will just go around to every single hopper until they get done. And this also has a nice little thing. Let's say that this hopper right here gets an item in it and stays, because this chest is full, this chest is full, this hopper's full, this hopper's full, this dispenser's full. It's going to lock the system here from pulling in more items, so that everything can actually end up over in this overflow, which sometimes items will be passing if it just happens to miss, or there's a, yeah, well, I call it a glitch, more of a loading issue. But they'll just continue going. Everything is lined up just so that it'll be collected, everything will be picked up by the hoppers. There's one very interesting technique done in this thing, because I need to be able to pick up that shulker box once it gets full. So, what do you say, guys? Let's get to building this thing. Alright, everybody. We're back. And everything we need to build a single slice of this thing, minus the little extra storage there. It's not required, but honestly, I think it's useful. A very useful space, using space of it is there. And I'll explain why you see open pin skids there and powdered snow there. There's really no difference. I'm just going to explain the difference between the two. So, let's just take a look at what we need. And this is just for a single slice. So, how many ever slices you take, build this, is going to activate it. That's how many more times of these you're going to need. Now, the solid blocks, I did not count because I don't need to. You don't, all of it except for one thing, depending on how you have it set up, doesn't require any transparent blocks except for one little thing. So that's why I have the glass here. You're going to need 8 comparators, 9 dust, 12 hoppers, 8 observers, 2 torches, 2 dispensers, 3 pistons, 2 target blocks, 2 hopper mine carts, 2 rails. Bring extras because you're going to have to do something special with them, depending on certain aspects. Well, you're going to have to do them either way. 4 sticky pistons, 4 repeaters, 2 honey or 2 slime, and these are alternating between each slice. So one slice you have honey, on one slice you have slime, the other one's going to have honey, and then the next one's going to have slime. So they're alternating. I'm just going to use the slime. 2 containers that you can control the redstone easily, the signal easily. I'm using cauldrons because I like how easy it is for cauldrons. And I can actually just control it easy by just putting 1 water bottle. 2 barrels, 4 chests, either something to break shulker boxes, fence gates, trap doors, end rods, powdered snow, anything a sticky piston can move and break a shulker box. And the shulker box and the shulker box goes into the hitbox, so slabs will work too. But I prefer either fence gates or powdered snow because you can open the shulker, which is crucial. Something to block water with over hoppers, packed ice to transport items using water streams, and some type of a decorative stair. At least 1. You can have more, but I recommend 2, and I'll explain why, and a shulker box. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to place a hopper down, and on the hopper, we're going to grab our rails. So we're going to place them down, and depending on which way we want them to go, we might just have to add 1 or 2. And these will be removed later. And then we can actually just put a hopper running right into the powered rail. Doesn't matter because that hopper is used as a detector versus actually items. So this is your empty shulker box output because we are starting on the bottom. We will grab ourselves our solid blocks. Going into the hopper, we're going to place a repeater. Leave it on default. Grab our... Let me just get a little bit of this cleared up. Going into the repeater, we're going to place an observer. Above the observer, we're going to place a solid block. On top of this hopper, a observer with a piston facing it. An observer facing away towards the center. This is our center area. No, actually, no. This way is our center, facing towards the back. This one's center. This is back. So, and you can rotate it. There's really no direction specific. On this block, we're going to place a sticky piston with a block power on its head. And we're going to place an observer. Now, this observer, when we have a container here, let me just grab a shulker real fast. If we place the shulker and then put something in the shulker it will read through the piston. So as soon as the items get removed, the shulker will break, which is what we needed to do. So, and then another one will get dispensed, picked up by this, because we're going to have it blocking off. So, next is we need to put a we need to place put a solid block right here with a dispenser facing towards the piston. An observer 1 block away facing down, and an observer reading that observer powering this block. Now we will grab our hoppers, place a hopper there, place a comparator right here. This comparator's sole job is, if this ever runs out, to anytime a shulker comes in here, it's going to dispense a shulker. So if I throw that there, shulker in. And that's the whole purpose behind that. Now we will grab our chests, put them directly on top of here. Now, if you're just making this look good, like I have in there, you can throw a stair here, solid blocks there. This is your walkway. Now, what happens if you step in here and fall down? Just jump up here, and then you can actually, if you're good at jumping, you can actually get out easy. Or if there's a shulker box here, you can actually, if there's a shulker box on the next one, it's the same thing as that. So that's how that is. Now we're going to take our hoppers, place one here and here, grab a block, place it here with an observer. Now this is the part that can get a little confusing because it's a specialty thing. Now you might have to break these two and place blocks here if you are going in the north-south direction because of the way the rails are placed. So I could tell you that this is north and south and this is east and west. If you're going east and if you're going north and south just like this, every other one you're going to do this, and then the next one's going to be like this, but only after you do the one that's right here. So it is going to be like this, and then that one can go, and then you can take out these blocks here, leaving the rails. And it's the same thing with this one right here. And to prevent the minecart from bouncing around, just block it off. But because we are just going east-west here, I'm just going to throw one right there, break it, throw my comparator right back on it. And for decoration purposes, I'm going to place a stair there. Now grab your hopper minecart, place it here. Grab your fence, place it there. And this part you can reuse, or you could just leave it out. I prefer reusing it, that's the only reason why. And we're just going to push our minecart right up against that fence. Now we can just take a solid block, put it on the other side of that. Grab our sticky pistons. Place a sticky piston one block above. Grab your stair. This one doesn't have to be a stair. I like the look of the stairs here for when you're standing here. It's a nice clean shot. And then we'll grab a piston. Any piston that you want, because what we're going to do is come down here. And any way you want to power this is fine, because we're going to power it, break it, and there we go. Now this piston is now this minecart is inside this piston. So the reason why we have the rail here is to keep the minecart locking here, and this is to help prevent it from bouncing up. Because I've had it where a minecart will just get ripped up all the way through, messing up the entire system. And then I'm just going to throw open fence gate there. And there we go. Now we're going to place a solid block here. Grab another sticky piston. Place one here. And one here. Actually, this one has to go, they go down at the same level. Grab an observer. Facing towards this center of the build, we're going to place an observer so that whenever this gets when this system gets ready, it's going to pulse, pushing this up and bringing it down, breaking the shulker that's going to be right here. We'll place another block there just for keeping things nice and tidy. I keep everything in place. And then we will take and grab our other dispenser. We can temporarily place a block up in there. Place a down, facing down. And we're going to put a rung hopper. Rung hopper. So we're going to place a hopper into that. And then this is just however you want to get your items into there. I'm just using a hopper stream. You can actually program it so they will sit there. And we're going to temporarily place a block here, place a hopper down, hopper going there. And this is where our barrels come in. So we're going to place a barrel on top, and a hopper, a barrel. I like having them all facing the same direction, and a hopper. So we've got hopper, hopper, barrel, hopper, barrel, hopper. We're going to place a block here. Actually, we need to have a gap. Place a block here. Pull a comparator out of that. A block up. Blocks over. Grab your dust. 2 dust there. With a repeater or comparator powering this barrel. Now what this is going to do is going to lock this hopper, and because this hopper is getting locked by getting powered, we're going to use that to dispense a box. So we're going to place a comparator observer outside of reading that hopper, a observer reading that one, powering that. Now it doesn't matter that they're all going to get all the dispensers next to them are going to get powered because they can't dispense anything. That's perfect. So then we're going to go down a block, go down another block. This one, this one, this one, this one. They don't have to be solid blocks. You can have them whatever you want. This has to be solid. This can't be a slab. This has to be solid. We're going to throw dust here. We're going to go down one more block at an angle and over. We're going to take our comparator, place a comparator there, dust there. Now what's going to happen is this is going to cause the system to, whenever this gets full, to activate this piston, powering this piston, breaking the box, which then is going to send it into here, displaying it. Now, if you want, you can take and just place the shulker there. And like I said, I use that just so we can open it. If we use another block, it might not have the same effect, and that's one thing I've noticed. That's why I prefer either powdered snow or open fences, because they will not interfere with the box getting open. So you can still access the box while the system is running, and you can actually just pull things out of it. So now we got that set up. All we have to do now is 2 things. One, get our system locked if the chests are full, which then will send the items over to a different area. So we're going to grab our honey/slime, put 2 down. Grab our container, for me the cauldron. Place a cauldron there. Reading out of the cauldron, we're going to place a block up. Doesn't have to be solid, has to be solid, doesn't matter, has to be solid. A comparator. A dust. A repeater. Yes, you could probably switch this to a target block and only use 1 dust, but overall, this is a cheaper setup. It is barely cheaper by 1 dust. So let me grab my water bottle just to fill up my power of that. You just have to make sure that you have signal strength 1 coming out of that. And then we'll place a piston going up. This piston is only powered by this repeater. And if I get myself a redstone block, power this, it turns off. Now, thing is, we need to switch this to 4 ticks because we don't want this to activate if it ever breaks. If every time a shulker box breaks and locks the system, we just want it to hold. And if you need a little more space, you can probably swap this, just move it in a little more. But you got to be careful when moving them because you want to make sure that they, one, stay on the rail, 2, get into it. I haven't had any issue so far with them not being taken. And then we're just going to pillar all the way up until we're in line with around this area. So right in line with that hopper. So we'll just hold off on that. And now what we're going to do is take our target block, 1 block above this hopper. We're going to place the target block, grab our torch, place the torch on it. And in fact, actually, we do need 1 glass block, maybe 2. We're going to place a block there, a block there. If you're going to link them like I have here, this one has to be a glass. There is no question about it. You have to have a glass there because we do not want to power anything over here. You can have this as a hopper. I chose a barrel. And I just didn't want to power this. But you could, but in fact, if you're using a barrel, you don't even have to. You can have a solid block, but a glass up, and you're going to do more than one. Because if not, you're going to have to just extend it out and place another block. Doesn't matter. And we'll place a solid block here. Grab yourself your packed ice, place it there. And a hopper going into the packed ice. A comparator. Grab your dust. And dust all of this. And then just get 4 filtration items. We're going to be pretty much just setting up a filter here. I recommend renaming these to prevent items from going in that's not supposed to. That's how I have all these set up. And these are set up just to block right now. So that these filter items I can remove and replace it like that. Just as simple as that. So if I happen to get water bottles, I can just have, water bottles need to go in here, or which is what this is used for. Like I said, occasionally some things will be missed, but just slow down the clock. And then we're just going to we're just going to make this so that water can pass. And this is how I like doing it. And then water will go through there. But what we need to do is take, and I can set a block here. We need to lock this top hopper. So a block away, we'll throw a torch on that. A block below and a block up. We can add another block here. A target block above here with a comparator, a dust, a repeater. This can be left on default. Your last piston right here, and then your other container. Like I said, I'm using a cauldron because I like it. And we'll put the water in there. Now what happens is when this gets full, let me simulate this by placing this here. When this gets full, it's going to lock this hopper from ever receiving items. No matter what happens, this will never receive an item. But when that's when this gets full. When it's done, we'll unlock it, and it'll start receiving items again, which means we're good there. Now, to set up for a control circuitry to say, if you're running out of shulker boxes, Sorry guys, I don't have one of those set up. But if you're just constantly keeping it full of shulkers, you shouldn't have a problem. It's in fact actually, it's more of a, if you're out of shulkers, the system itself will protect itself by this hopper will prevent items from getting filled up. It'll actually end up filling up to this barrel here, backlogging into here, filling this up, and then passing it through, and then this will end up being full. This will end up draining out. The system protects itself. So, yeah. And now, if you want to add that extra, just build this exact same sorter right here. Let me grab my chest. Just like this. Yeah, it's designed just to be able to lock all of it. And this one it doesn't have to worry about that type of protection either. You're good there. But so, and then yeah, it's the same thing. You just throw your 4 items in, and there we go. That's ready to go. 5 filtration items to block it off. You don't want to you want to make sure that you have 4 items different, like I have for all of these, because if this happens to overfill, you don't want the system to say, oh, this thing can start unloading and it will break your system. And then all you have to do is, with this, if you want the exact same layout, add 2 more blocks. This is your center block right here. You'll have 1 block gap between this side and this side. And all you have to do is just rebuild it over and over again. But if you just want the wall, all you have to do, if you just wanted a wall, there you go. Just keep building it over and over again. And there we go. Well, you guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comment section. And if it's a major issue, I recommend joining my Discord link, because that will be in the description. If you want to support me, you can subscribe. But you guys, this is the Redstone Wizard. Enjoy building.